Hey guys, this is a really special video today. I'm with my friend here, Mike from Flashlight Crazy.
Hey man.
And we are basically gonna compare our torches. We're gonna have a chat about flashlights. We don't have really too much prepared, but I found out that Mike actually lives over here in Melbourne, Victoria with me, and I thought it'd be a great idea to get together. And Mike and I just had a chat online and thought, why not? Let's do something. So that's it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Yeah. All right, so let's just talk. So, firstly, man, what got you into torches? Flashlights, torches.
Man, I've been into torches since I was pretty young, probably
Yep.
14, 15.
Yep.
And I sort of look back, if my old self, 14, 15, was sort of looking back at what I'm doing now and getting all these flashlights, I think he'd be pretty stoked.
Yeah.
I guess I was always into electronics growing up.
Yep.
Like I did electronics at school.
Yep.
And you know when you get those initial, I don't know what they're called, those old LEDs.
Yes.
That just have like the two pins on them.
Yes, I know exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they used to call those ultra bright LEDs, and
Right.
they were about $20, the blue colored ones. And I
Yep.
remember back then those were a really big deal.
Yep.
And yeah, I started just getting some cheap flashlights online.
Yep.
And just took off from there. I think I was living at home, and my mum and my parents just thought I was going crazy because every time open up the mailbox, there'd be a new flashlight there that I'd ordered somewhere from.
That's what I'm going through right now.
Yeah. Did you look at Deal Extreme? Were you Deal Extreme and Kai Domain and all those?
No.
That was a thing back then.
Right.
I don't know if they're still, Kai Domain's still around, but they're like those deals websites that you just go on and buy random gadgets and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how I kind of got into it when I was younger. Stopped for a little bit, bought a few more when I was probably in my early 20s, and you're actually the same age as me. We're 33.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So quite recently, and sounds like similar to you as well, maybe it was a lockdown, maybe it was for whatever reason, I just decided, I was on Amazon, I ended up buying one of those sofa flashlights, and from then it just took off and started making videos, and just, reached out to a few manufacturers, and I don't know why, but it's hard to explain, isn't it?
Yeah.
People ask you what got you into lights?
So you and I started to talk a little bit about a bit of my background earlier, and I guess one of the things that got me into flashlights probably a few years ago was the protective, the self-defense aspect that a flashlight can offer. So I've got a bit of a colourful history, a lot of stuff that I'm still dealing with in my own kind of psyche. And when I was a lot younger and I was going through some of these troubles, I found that a flashlight was actually a really good way to defend myself in a way that was like shine a light and give me a moment to run, right? So that's how it started for me. I know it's not the typical answer of how people got into flashlights, but that's how it started for me. Then when I kind of got out of a lot of that trouble and I kind of built a better life for myself, I was fascinated with them, and I wanted to dig deeper into them. Now, I still have a very kind of innate love and attraction to tactical flashlights, but I am, with the help of some friends who are kind of like Victor, for example, who is telling me, branch out, look at budget lights, look at more EDC lights and things like that. So I'm very open to all kind of torches that are around, but the tactical style, the ones that kind of, I can have a light on me and know that if something happens in my life that puts me in a situation where I feel like my safety is under threat, I know that I've got that shining beam of light that can give me that edge to then get away. I'm not at all into getting into physical altercations or fighting or anything like that. Not at all. I'm into looking after myself and having something that's not a weapon that can protect me. So that's how I got into it. now it's just a total love for the lights. It's just, I love the technology that's going into them. Each year these new lights come out and they're just I mean, you would agree, right? They're just fascinating what the technology is doing.
It's amazing. From even 5 years ago, 5 to 8 years ago, when I was looking at lights, I've had those XML LEDs.
Yep.
The Cree XML LEDs.
Yep.
Something about 700 lumens, and
Yep.
that was the max.
Yep.
I mean, that you could get. You'd have these gigantic hosts, and as you know, getting back into them, I sort of just looking up just a really cheap one online, and even the SST40 nearly 3 times the output of that in such a small host, and the technology just moves along so quickly. I kind of wonder, someone watching this video 10 years from now, they're going to look at these lights and be like, geez, these are...
We'll be watching this and we'll be saying the same thing.
We've got something like this size and it produces 10,000 lumens.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because I noticed you had the, is that the Immolent?
That's one of the first few I got, because I was like, 13,000 lumens, this is crazy. But,
now, how long does that last though, the 13,000?
Oh, not long. So...
Like seconds or a minute or...
I think it ramps down probably 10, 20 seconds. I haven't quite tested it.
Yeah.
But when I first started buying flashlights, getting back into it again, I think I just got attracted to the lumen aspect of it.
For sure.
Nowadays, I aim for something that's sustained lumen output and more reliable, because this thing, I mean, it's
well, what does it ramp down to?
I don't know exactly, but I'd say maybe 20% of its output. I've got to I haven't done like a proper, ceiling bounce test on it.
Yep.
But it's very noticeable. So
yeah, okay.
Then there's also things, it does make some kind of squeaky noise when you have it on turbo, like these whining noises.
It's not a fan in there, is there?
Nah. So there's just a few things that I noticed with it. It's definitely a monster. It's wall of light. It almost just washes out all the colors. You turn it on and it's just it's full on. But again, I think they've taken
let's
shortcuts.
give it a go. Let's just see how it goes.
Okay.
Without blinding ourselves.
So that's just like the normal. And then you've got the turbo. Well, I think it needs to be charged.
Yeah.
Charged it. Pretty sure that's.
But that's still bouncing off your hand like very bright. Yeah. All right. Cool. So. I guess, I mean, we can talk all day about lights, like really, I could talk with you all day about lights. But for the purposes of the video and the viewers and everything like that, should we talk a little bit about maybe the collection that we've got in front of us, and then perhaps go into some, list of categorized favorites or something like that? What do you think?
Yeah, what I liked you talking about before was the tactical lights, because that was something also I only started getting into a few months ago, and with the self-defensive feature of it, just being able to, because when you're in a situation and maybe the adrenaline's running, there's so much going on, you don't want to be picking up some Anduril light and being like, okay, I need to press these buttons 3 times and then
hold down,
and hold this. It just doesn't work that way.
No.
And the instinct is just to mash that button.
That's it.
So I think that's a feature that I appreciate more. I've never had to actually use it in a situation where I've had to defend myself, but it's interesting to hear that you might have had to deal with that sort of situation, and for me, like, what was that like? And
so cool, man.
Was it effective?
Yeah. So
you don't have to go into
Yeah, of course. No, thank you.
Details about it.
So look, this situation that I'm going to tell you about is what surprised me in how effective a light can be. So this was probably honestly about 8 to 10 years ago. So bring your mind back to the lights that we had back then. It was a small, probably 18650 or even 2 CR123s. All right. So small light, or even it could have been. I could be wrong. It could have even been one of the 18350 sized lights. Right.
Yeah.
I was as I said earlier, I've had a bit of a colourful, roller coaster of a past, and I found myself in a situation where I was being approached behind the back of a friend's house as I was leaving. So I was at a friend's house, and when I say friend, it was an acquaintance who, I would never be caught dead with these days. But I was at an acquaintance's house back then who I and these three people rocked up, and I knew I didn't get along with them, and I feared them. So I said, hey mate, I'm going to bounce out the back. I left out the back. Sure enough, one of them was coming around from the back. Don't know why, he just thought he'd go around the back to his friend's house. So there I am right in front of him, and he's a big guy, and I know I'm fairly big, but he was a big guy, and he was very intimidating. My instinct was I just grabbed the light out of my pocket and just clicked it. Now, I wish I remembered what light this was, because it got me into lights, right? But I can't for the life of me remember it.
You framed it up on your wall or something?
Yeah, something like that. So I clicked it and I shined it in his face, and he was completely unable to continue to move forward. I would assume this light was probably about 1,000 lumen light, right?
Yeah.
And no, it couldn't have been more than 1,000 lumens.
Yeah.
And so I clicked it on, and all I remember him doing was having his hand kind of in front of the light to block from hitting his eyes, because he still wanted his eyes open. And he was like, hey man, get that light out of my face. And I was like, hey man, I don't want trouble, so get out of my way, and I'll get the light out of your face. But I'm going that way and you're blocking my road.
Yeah.
And we're in kind of like a thin hall area. So it's kind of like, hey man, I got to either go back in the house or past you. I want to go past you to go home. You got two friends in the house I don't get along with. And so I'm not going to put the light down. And what I learned from that situation was, like, having the light up there like that, it acted almost as like a wall of defense. Now, obviously it's nothing physical, like hard, right? Nothing solid. So he could obviously have just walked straight up to me if he wanted to. But had he done that, he would have been at a severe disadvantage because of the amount of light coming out of this little torch, and I am behind the torch, so I can see everything, whereas he would be coming towards me, seeing or having his vision at the least very impaired.
Especially with it being so dark.
Yes.
Outside, you know, and you've got 1,000 lumens. And
Yes.
you're just blind for
Brilliant point.
a while. So,
Brilliant point. Yeah. That's something that the viewers should actually be aware of, is that, you know, 1,000 lumen light, or even a bloody 10,000 lumen light, if you're shining it at somebody in the nighttime, it's going to affect them 1,000,000 times more than shining it in the daytime. And that's purely because the light around during the daytime is actually your eyes focus and adjust to it. So when it gets dark, your eyes find it very difficult to adjust to a bright light, and it's literally like going blind for a momentary time. So that story ended with nothing bad happening. I was able to, that guy was like, yeah, no worries, and he had his hand up the whole time. I had my hand on the torch the whole time, shining it in his face, and when I got past him, I put it down and I left. And I've never forgotten that moment, because I basically was shown how effective a light can be in a situation. And I've been on a kind of quest ever since then to have that kind of perfect light on me the whole time, particularly in darkness.
Yeah, and I noticed, like, a lot of your lights, they're kind of EDC range ones. Like, these would be very easy to fit in your pocket, but I mean, they look like they'd be pretty powerful as well. And, you know, I've got a whole mixed bag of lights. But I think the lights that you have are more of the mainstream, I guess what people would call the more premium sort of light range that you'd have around, and they're all tactical lights as well. So I see a bit of a theme here as well. And, you know, lately also I've been looking more into tactical lights. For that reason, the ease of use. And just the reliability of it, because if I'm going to have just one light on me, I want it to do its job.
For sure.
So
for sure. Well, you know what? The collection you've got there tells me a little bit about you, and it tells me that you're actually you're more educated in lights than I am. And the reason for that is because these brands that I've got here, so just for the viewers, everybody, I've got Olight, I've got Claris, I've got Welltool, and I've got Ace Beam. That's it. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Welltools, and I've got 1 Olight, 1 Ace Beam, and 1 Claris. And these lights are very mainstream lights. They're like, if you type in what's the best tactical light, you're probably going to get a suggestion of each of these lights that I've got. Whereas when I look over at your arrangement, these are actually lights that I've learned about these lights by digging a little deeper. And so what that tells me is that you've actually dug deeper and you've learned a lot more about different kind of, what would we call it? Would we call it the budget light? What do you kind of categorize them in?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think you've got budget sort of lights. You've got ones that are more suited to DIY, so people who like to mod lights. So I've got quite a few convoy lights.
Yep.
But then you've got, I've got couple of Immolent lights, and these are, I don't know if you'd classify them as budget lights. They're pretty pricey for what they are, but Immolent just focuses on maximum lumens.
Yeah.
Like just a insane amount of lumens for a short period of time.
Can I ask, is that the C8 Plus?
That's it,
That's a brilliant light, man.
And that comes in the micro arc oxidation. And
and that's that one?
That has an emitter in there called the CSL NM1. It's the W1 emitter, so it's a 1mm by 1mm LED dye surface. So
cool.
It throws really well.
Yeah.
I've got a
Next Torch.
That's a Next Torch. It's one of the recent ones, and that has an XHP 50.3 high in it.
Yep.
So it's a
for the viewers, what's that? What's that? Explain that.
So it's 3,000 lumens, and it's designed for a little bit more throws. So any kind of de-domed LED. So if you basically if you look at the LED and there's no, I don't know what you'd call it, no sort of silicone dome on top of it, those tend to throw a lot further. In my experience, they're just designed for that.
Yep.
So that's, I guess, one that you could say might go within the theme of what you have.
I certainly would agree,
Still, I mean, considering it's a little bit larger than, putting this in your pocket, you can do it, but I think these would be a lot more comfortable, that's for sure.
Yeah,
so,
is that 21700?
There's 21700. It's, like you had to play around with it, pretty simple interface. There's a button on the back, and I like how that there's a clear distinction between when it goes on and then the strobe mode.
That's cool, man. I noticed that.
So it's the same button to turn on momentary and then strobe.
Yep.
So, like we were talking about before, that when you're in that situation and a difficult situation where you have to defend yourself, you might have the adrenaline running and you just mash the button so there's no...
Exactly.
Even if you're in any of the other modes, it does that as well. So
that's really good, man, to hear. Yeah. So no matter what mode you're in, if you mash the button, that's like your protective button.
That's right.
Yep, that's great. That's a good thing to have. I think that's a good thing to have, man.
I want to hear some more about your lights. These look really cool, man. I've never actually played around with any of these before.
Well, you are my guest, mate. You please be my guest and grab anyone you want. I guess I'll start with, so this is the LH5 head, but it comes in a configuration called the T13G. Now, what that means is, so Weltool, for all you guys at home who watch me, you know very well I'm a Weltool obsessed fan, and Weltool actually allows you to change the bodies and heads out pretty much with everything. So, for example, if I wanted an 18350 configuration in my LH5 head, no worries at all. I can just shorten it, and that's it. And so I bought this configuration here for everyone who's not seeing. That's the configuration I've just put it in. And so that, it will take an 18350, it just makes it a lot smaller, pocketable. But this light here, I probably wouldn't go as far as to say it's a tactical light. Reason being is that it is a 4000 Kelvin light, and it has a, so this is the cycle of it. Yeah. It will always come in on 34 lumens.
Okay.
Every time.
Yeah.
Then turn it off, turn it back on quickly, that's 640 lumens.
Yep.
That's it. And see how warm the color is? So it's a high CRI. I use this light for basically everyday purposes and every night purposes. I use it around the house.
Yeah.
It's a really good light to use around the house of like, oh, you know, what's over there? It's just, I wouldn't put it down to a protective light.
Yeah.
Just because of the high CRI ability and also so that's the D-dome you're talking about, is it?
Look.
Or is that the bubble thing that you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that's dome, but I don't know what LED.
Yeah, Weltool.
They're using. You know, a lot of brands like Olight, Weltool, and them, they often don't actually.
No, they don't. I'll see if I've got the.
It could be that
specs. High CRI. That's the one there. So.
LED. Interesting.
Yeah, CRIX LED. That's all it says about it.
Yeah.
So that's my kind of go-to daily/nightly use when I'm not needing to protect myself. Basically.
No memory mode on it?
No memory mode. Or it'll always be 34.
Okay.
So it cycles. You can momentary cycle from low to high, but if you leave it off for, so if I'm on low, turn it off. If I click that button again quickly, it would come on high. Yeah. But if I wait a moment and then go again, back to low. Okay. So always low.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Like, I mean, when you're, as an everyday light or something that you just bring around with you or keep in the glove box, you don't want that to blast you with 1,000 lumens straight up. I don't know if, just doing beam shots at night, kind of what we were talking about before, if you accidentally blinded yourself.
Plenty of times.
And when there's not much light around you, it's really quite, even 1,000, 500,000 lumens, you're like, and you can't, you just can't see.
It stops you for a moment, and you really got to kind of get back into it. So look, with that light, 100% every single time it's going to come on in the 34 lumens.
All right. So this is the Weld Tool LH7, eh?
LH5.
LH5.
Yep.
I can't read.
That's the Weld Tool LH5 head. So if we just put that away now, and we'll just put it away with the LH5 down there. Oh, you won't be able to see it, guys, but my viewers know the LH5 head. I've reviewed it before. So next, I suppose, would be the probably one of my favorite Weld Tool lights around. This is the LH1 head, and this head is, I didn't put a battery in it. This head is probably one of the most beautiful spills I've ever seen. Oh. It is a single output light. Yeah. It is designed for military tactical use. So it has a lens protector here.
Yeah.
Flick the lens protector open, it stays open, and it's just normal. So now this is, now I don't want to get this wrong. Let me see. Nope, not that one. Here we go. This one is 686 lumens and 89,600 candela. So a whole lot of candela.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and that goes for 600 meters, just shy of 600 meters.
I mean, it's quite a small bezel as well. Mm-hmm. That looks like, that looks something like maybe 27 millimeter bezel or whatever.
I would have said the same thing, 26, 27.
Very easy to sort of fit in your pocket.
I'll show you something as well.
I should grab. I think I left one in my bag, but it doesn't matter.
So when you take this off, this light actually comes. So have a look at that LED, by the way, and the smooth reflector. It's just beautiful.
I wonder if that's an NM1. Kind of looks a bit like the NM1 in this one, eh?
Oh yeah. Tiny. It looks very similar.
That might be it.
Yeah, I think man. Yeah.
Because it's got incredible throw, this LED.
See, all it says is white light X LED. I don't get it.
Yeah. Jeez. Now this thing is pretty full on for such a little light as well, and the reflector is quite deep.
Yes.
So,
which helps. Because see, I liked what you were doing there. So to compare it with the Convoy, right? You can see how the hotspot of the Convoy is a lot tighter, and stays a lot tighter as well. And it looks to me as though it would have more lumens. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think, obviously the reflector is larger, so it's going to be able to concentrate, have a more concentrated hotspot, but you can't fit this in your pocket.
No.
It's just too bulky.
Yeah.
So when I go out, leave the house, I don't grab this one. I grab something with a smaller bezel one. I think over time of just having all these flashlights, that's my realization that the one that you normally pick up is just the one that's easiest to pocket.
Absolutely.
And has the most utility. Good throw, good flood, good battery capacity, and it's reliable. It's got maybe a tactical function. I think a tactical function is important
for sure
for me. So I mean, these are great, but it's more for your, a flashlight maybe you chuck in your backpack.
Exactly. Yep. I agree.
And I think with, lights, if you look at, say, Convoy, Convoy is probably the main sort of enthusiast, flashlight enthusiast, modder sort of flashlights out there, but you don't have any charging ports on it. So, I'm sure with all of your lights, you've got some kind of external charging, or there's a kind of battery with a plug thing.
Yeah, so
charge battery.
not with Well-Tool. So
Okay.
actually, the 18350s with Well-Tool have a micro USB port to charge them. But there are no external charging ports in the Well-Tools. As you can see here with the 18650, no external port, so you've got to get a charging dock.
A separate one.
Yeah.
And that's probably good for the water resistance as well. Because I have found, I don't know if you've had this happen, but you turn on the light and sometimes the kind of port will just pop off.
Yeah, I've never had that happen.
From what I've heard, it's something to do with the pressure, the internal and external pressure of the light. Yeah, you want
I've got to reset the camera. So the other thing I wanted to mention as well is that I just changed this into the 18350 configuration again, and this is great for 18350. Of course, you're sacrificing runtime without the 18650, but it's just so much more pocketable and loses no intensity at all. It will just lose runtime.
Wow,
that's it.
I really like that it has this modular feature to it, so that you can you just have to buy the head. It seems like
that's
there's
right.
different compatible heads with the flashlights. And the anodization is fantastic as well. Just even the machining, all the attention to detail. That you can see even on the bezel here. It's really fantastic. So when you're paying extra, that's what you get. You get more refinement, and you essentially just get the reliability. So plus a lot of special features. Different companies do different things. So
this light. So one telltale sign that this light is actually really good for tactical applications and military and law enforcement and things like that is it actually comes with a spare lens, because when you attach this to a gun and you're firing the whole time, it can damage the lens.
Oh, the actual glass.
Okay. So it actually you actually get in the pack with the LH1 head. You get a fresh lens to take the bezel off and reattach it.
I have noticed there's quite a community of dudes that go hunting and stuff that also like flashlights. And that's one of the main reasons they use it. So
which is not me. I don't hunt. I would definitely hunt for my food if I had to, but I don't hunt. I just never kind of got into it.
I have gone to shooting ranges and I find it fun. I do some archery. It's been a while since I've done that, but it's more.
I shoot a bow as well. Actually, at an archery range, but I don't. I don't hunt with it. I'm not nowhere near good enough to hunt with it.
No, it's like recurve or compound.
No, recurve.
Yeah. How some people they shoot without sights and stuff. That's always like done my own. Like, how do you?
No, just a recurve, no sight, and it's 40 pounds. So I just play around with that, shoot the target. I'm up to about 20 meters now, and I'm hitting the target at least, not the hot spot, obviously.
Is it easy to find places around where you are to
play
around with it?
Yeah, I've got two archery clubs that I go to.
Cool.
So I guess next for me would be the Well-Tool. This actually came today. The Well-Tool LH3 head. So that's a LEP.
Oh, wow.
And this is probably my favorite LEP, and I'll show you why.
It's
look at the size of the light head. Firstly, absolutely enormous.
I'd consider this to be quite pocketable.
Yeah, for sure. As an LEP, for sure.
Yeah, but for an LEP, it's impressive that they've kept the bezel so small.
Have you got an LEP in that?
I've got a couple here, but for example, that one, you notice even just a few millimeters adds such a difference.
Absolutely, for the pocketability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. So the reason why I love this for a self-defense light is the size of the hotspot. So the technology in this is just utterly brilliant, and the size of the hotspot. So just for you guys at home, I'll just show you the LEP. That's the LH3 head Well-Tool. Now, the size of the hotspot, as you'll see on the wall over there, this is going to cover somebody's face. and that is
That's a really interesting looking beam, man. And
Yeah.
almost like I've never seen a beam look so kind of diffused like that. An
Yeah.
LEP beam. It's almost got like a spill.
Yep.
A bit of spill around the edges.
Well, that's this one. That's actually an LEP with spill. But see, if I do it down there, that hurts your eyes. Sorry.
No,
so yeah, if I do it down there, it just grows the further away it gets. It just grows, and yeah, it is a very interesting looking LEP. For the viewers at home, I don't know if
You can try it back there. It might work on there. At least your general. Hard to see.
so so that's just going to get bigger and bigger. The further away it gets, I don't know. No, they can't see.
You know, it reminds me of a projection light.
Yes.
Or something on a stage.
Yes.
light.
Yes. So it's only 330 lumens, but 196,000 candela.
Yeah.
So really cool light.
It's difficult to find LEPs above that sort of 3 to 5, 600 lumen range.
Yeah.
I think just due to the laser diode that they use behind it.
Yep.
But I wonder if this is one of those shine through modules, or whether it's like a reflector module. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I'll check my notes to see.
Yeah, I think it's a shine through. I can sort of probably wouldn't put this to my head, but
No, definitely don't look into that.
Yeah.
I can't find any information on what it is.
Yeah, because you can see it like with this one here. This is the Next Torch T10L, and you can see the little yellow phosphor diode.
Yep.
So you can see that in there as well. It's basically where you have the laser module directly behind the phosphor.
Yep.
And then it shines through the phosphor,
Yep.
converting it to white light. So that's the T10L. I have had this. I don't know when I got this. Probably a few months ago. So this is a tactical LEP, and
That's awesome.
Actually came with this little. It's this little, what do you call it? Like a
Tactical ring, yeah.
around the side as well. So I think I've actually just disabled it. Yeah. So.
Oh, nice.
It's I think this is, I can't remember, about 5 or 600 lumens, and it's, you know, with Next Torch they have that same design at the back there where you can what do you call it, like it's like a rotating sort of switch, so you can have it on low, medium, high, and then strobe. But then if you're, you know, in tactical mode, you have it on high,
Always
and then,
high.
and then you got that strobe as well.
Yep.
So I like the design of the interface and the fact that you can choose some of the lower modes in there. I find that you can't get everything in a light.
You can't. It's really hard.
And with the that's the
LH3. Yep.
The simplicity of it. It starts off. It's got one mode.
That's it.
It does it well.
Yep.
You don't have to be fiddling around with anything.
Yep.
So
it's the one thing with Welltool that I love. It's that I've noticed with Welltool, they are just a no-nonsense brand, and they produce no-nonsense lights. It's just that you know what you're going to get with Welltool. Most of the Welltool lights I have are single output. This one here is an LEP. This is the LEP with spill. It's the W one.
Yeah.
And this is actually a dual mode, but it always starts off in high, no matter what. So that's there, and you can see the spill around it. So that starts to look really cool. Like the further out you get, and then that's on low.
Yeah. That's unusual because I've not seen an LEP with spill before.
No, this was the first I saw.
Yeah. I wonder if it's the lens, some type of thing that they're doing with the lens.
Whatever they're doing, I'm liking it, man. They know what they're doing.
Well, people say LEPs are impractical, right? But when you've got a bit of spill, it's quite significant as well.
Yeah. No, the night shots of that really, you can see a lot more than I put that up against the Thor 1, and it's just you can't even compare. The spill in the LEP is just so much better.
Yeah. Do they get pretty hot when you use them, or they're
No. I haven't noticed them get pretty hot. One of them that started to get hot, I don't have it with me, was the T8 Plus. On high, it got really hot. And yeah, thanks for checking that out. Actually, the lockout system with the Welltools is just a half a turn, except for some of them, not all of them. So this one, for example, this is the TC70 tail cap. And this is actually, it's got a very long spring. Half a turn is not going to lock it out. You actually can't lock it out, which is why I don't leave the batteries in it, because it'll just drain the battery.
Interesting. Yeah, I do like the anodization on it. There's they give him some interesting names as well. There's one that's called like the dragon in the cloud or whatever.
I haven't heard that one.
The larger LED, I think the W3 or
yes. The W4 Pro. Yes.
Now that's one I really want to see.
Yeah, that's $700 or something, $680.
Yeah, because actually when I went to your channel, I saw you had the Ace Beam W50.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
That thing was mad.
Yeah.
I mean, you get picked up by the police or something using that thing, and it looks pretty big as well.
It's huge. Yeah, I was very thankful to Adam from Light Shop for sending me that to review. And that thing was just so far out of my league, man. It was insane. And I genuinely felt like I was going to get picked up by the police by having it, because it was just, it looked like it could take down airplanes. It was so bright and went so far. But the most beautiful thing about that was that it offered a flood option, which was just amazing. A flood option in an LEP system. It was just amazing. It was really cool.
There's some variable output, isn't there, that you can
it just zooms in, zooms out. It's just awesome.
Yeah, and that is actually the W50, the Ace Beam W50 is the brightest LEP on the market. I think it's.
I believe so. Yeah.
There's another one called I think Max. There's something with like a double-headed LEP.
Oh well, I know Lumentop's done that. The Lumentop 4. I don't know if that's the one.
I think it's called the Wolf Eyes something. I can't remember what it is, but it's 1,000 something 100 lumens.
Yep.
But this one here.
Oh, is that an LEP?
So this is the Next Torch T20L. So you've got.
Is that a double switch there?
That's well, basically I don't know what you'd call it, but there's two sort of. You've got this switch just at the back.
Yep. Wow, that's bright.
That essentially goes to turbo.
Yep.
Or high.
Yep.
And then what's it? When you click it, that's where you can change the modes.
Okay,
so basically when you're holding it, using the back switch, you can only access high and strobe mode.
Yep.
But when you click it, you can just cycle through all the other modes.
Cool.
And this is 900 lumens.
Wow, in an LEP.
In an LEP. So, shit. I think that's pretty impressive. Like, considering that with a lot of other ones, you've got, the one above that, again, just the name, I just can't remember what it is, the one with the double head, the Wolf Eyes something. That's something over 1,000 lumens. But this is probably the third brightest LEP that you can get out there on the market, apart from that W50.
Yeah. That's a cool. That's a decent one, man. I really like it, and it feels great too. It feels like it's been machined very professionally.
Yeah.
Just give you guys a look at that. So that's, what do you call this one? The Next Torch
T20L.
T20L.
And I noticed, like, with the anodization, it has that similar feeling, smoothness.
Yep.
And the machining, there's no nicks, imperfections.
Yep.
So they're probably one of my better lights that I'd bring out with me, just because I feel I could rely on them a lot more. I think this one produces, what's the throw? 2.3 kilometers of off throw.
Wow.
When I tested it. So, yeah. I've got a lot more scratches and stuff on all my lights. I don't think I look after them so well. I put them in my bag. I don't baby them.
Yep.
They should be able to stand up to that.
That's right. Yeah, I was going to say, that's what they're built for, man. If you can throw a couple of lights in your bag and then they end up breaking just from being in your bag, well, they're not really worthy, in my opinion. Yeah. This one's really nice as well, the Next Torch. What's that?
It's a T10L. It's a smaller, it's kind of younger brother, and you got like the tactical bezel on it as well, with the stainless steel and this glass breaking beads.
Oh, I like those. Yeah. The what do they call them? Zirconian beads, I think.
Something like
that's
that.
Cool, man.
Ceramic beads.
Yeah.
If you're kind of paranoid about being trapped in a car while it's sinking, or getting out of breaking a window to get out of a bad situation.
Yeah. Now, does this come off? So
it does.
And does it come with a regular pocket clip or not?
I don't think this one came with the pocket clip.
Okay.
It might have. I honestly can't remember. But
yep.
Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah,
that's all right.
Might not have come with the pocket clip.
Yeah. All right. What else have I got? Well, okay. So one thing I haven't reviewed yet. I haven't reviewed a few of these yet, but the Ace Beam P16, really great light. I'm actually finding I'm loving this light. So it is a 18650 light, and it has a tactical and a daily mode. And basically, the only difference between tactical and daily is what this secondary button gives you. So on the back there, you've got two buttons, the primary button and the secondary button. Secondary there, primary there. So the primary button is a forward clicky. Now, I've got it in tactical mode, and all that means is that the secondary button there is going to give you strobe, instant strobe. It's only momentary, but it'll give you instant strobe. And in my opinion, that's all you need for strobe is momentary. So you just hold that, let go, and it's all good. In daily mode, that secondary button will give you the lowest output.
Yeah.
So daily mode gives you an instant low output, whereas tactical mode gives you an instant strobe. Other than that, it cycles, so I've got it on high at the moment. The reason I really like this light is you can see the size of the hotspot. Yeah. Very big hotspot, a lot of candela, which is great because that's very, very blinding for the candela. Look at that in the camera,
It's a cool, very cool white color as well.
Yeah, it is,
Very, I think you're definitely maximizing your lumens.
Yeah, exactly. So this is only a 1700 lumen light, but because of the candela, it makes it really, really good. And it's got that TIR.
Oh, that's why it was sort of quite smooth, the beam pattern on the wall.
Yeah.
The P16, hey?
Yeah, Ace Beam P16. They're doing some really good stuff with Ace Beam at the moment.
And when you're changing with Ace Beam, when you change to that, what is it called, the daily mode and what have you, is there a specific easy way to change it, or is it a bit...
It's a bit finicky. Yeah. So
with Nightcore, you reviewed the P23i, and there's a kind of a procedure.
Strobe yourself, and then So look, it's kind of similar to that. So you hold down the strobe button, and then you click the thing, and see how it's kind of like like a heartbeat. It's kind of like pulsating.
Yep.
So now what you do is you will click the secondary button, right? And now if in SOS, that is going to mean daily mode. And then if you click that, strobe means tactical mode. So this is basically your selection button. Okay. So you're selecting daily mode, and then if you want daily mode, you just click the rubber clicky.
Okay.
But if you want tactical mode, you just click the rubber clicky whilst it's strobing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think like I'll probably need to, for me, that would be something I got to read the instructions and make sure because there's a few sort of steps, but it's not something you're going to be changing over constantly. And I think the good thing is you don't want to accidentally, with some other torches, it's too easy to change the mode configuration.
Yep.
And you don't want it, you want it to have at least a couple of steps in.
Yep.
So that it doesn't, change by itself.
Yeah.
So,
and look, crenulated bezel, again, not too aggressive. I don't like a too aggressive bezel, but it's kind of nice and crenulated. Very, very professional. The only thing that kind of annoys me about this is that you can't move the pocket clips position because it's kind of this new deal.
I see, yeah.
See how it's plugged in there? So I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's actually, it clips underneath where the light head screws on, and there's only one position for it to clip in. There's like a cutout for it to clip right in there, and that's the only place it can go. It can't go anywhere else. So if you wanted the pocket clip to be in a different position, you're not gonna get it. That's the only thing.
I have another EDC light, the Next Torch E51C, and it has that same design like this. So the clip is basically wedged underneath the head when you screw it on.
Yep.
You can't move it around, but I think the positive to that as well is that it doesn't have this friction ring design. So if you have it in your pocket or just sort of at the side and you pull it out, there's no chance of that ring basically detaching from the flashlight.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there is that positive. It definitely is quite sturdy. That's not going anywhere. You're going to have to rip the head off.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
And it's a reversible pocket clip. Yeah,
that's good. You can have it on your hat as well, That's when you can tell you're definitely a torch nerd.
Yeah, you make sure you put it on there. Exactly. Yeah, so look, I love this light. It's becoming one of my kind of go-to lights at the moment. Haven't reviewed it yet, but I will be reviewing it soon. Sorry, do you want to grab it again?
I just noticed there's the battery tube as well. It looks like it's insulated.
It is, yes.
So there's a double, I don't know if you can see it, but on the inside there's like a double layer. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's insulated, so it kind of keeps everything. There's no banging around while it's on. It's not going to flicker.
Yeah. Really good quality, like even the tail spring and the copper plate at the end,
Very good contact on both ends.
Yeah. can definitely see why Acebeam have such a good reputation.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they're doing really well. They're pumping out P16. I opted for the P16 because it's an 18650. They've got the 17 and 18 as well, but they're both 21700s. And as you can see here, the only 21700 I've got is the Olight Warrior 3.
I don't know if I've got any TIR. Oh, I've got one. Just this one here. This is the Spearez M4. So this is.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically. How should I say? It's a similar sort of design in terms of the TIR lens. A bit difficult to see here on the camera. But the cool thing is that the LED, it's circular shaped. So you get. So that's basically the beam profile.
Yep.
And so the spill is like a really soft spill that goes around the side.
But they concentrate a lot of the light into that hotspot, which is good in my opinion.
Yeah. And this is a great little one that you can carry around with you. It's an 18350 light.
Yep.
But what I find is because it does have that soft button here on the side where you call these the E switch on the side. I've found this thing just to turn on my pocket, that kind of thing. So I'll always, when I stick it in my pocket, I'll turn and just disconnect it a little bit, so that it loses connection with the battery. Problem with that is that when you need it, you have to remember to put it back in.
It's an extra step.
And there is an electronic lockout function, but again, it's going to take you a little time to unlock the thing if you need it very quickly. So it's not something that if you want very quickly to use in an emergency, that you can just pull it out, and I think that's something to keep in mind as well. But for pretty much general use, I think it's fantastic.
I really like that, man.
Little 18350 thrower.
Yeah.
I think it does about 700. If you double click, it goes to the turbo.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Look at that on turbo.
Do you prefer TIR lights or reflector lights these days? What do you?
I'm very impressed with TIR lights, to be honest. I'm very impressed with them. So let's do a bit of a comparison with the Claris XT11 GT Pro. I haven't reviewed this one yet either. And this little light, well, it's not too little, but this is an 18650 as well. And the difference between this one and the Acebeam is about 1300 lumens, so that's a 3000 lumen turbo. This is a 1700 lumen turbo, but that's a reflector. This is a TIR, and I'll show you the difference between hotspots on turbo. So again, tactical and daily mode. Tactical with this is not a EDC application light anymore. So what it means is the button here, like the mode button, sends you straight into strobe, and the forward clicky sends you straight into turbo. That's it on tactical. So very good for tactical applications, but if you needed a light with a little bit less output, you would have to turn it on in turbo and then hit the mode button to cycle down.
Is there another configuration?
Daily mode.
Daily mode.
It does have daily mode, yeah.
That's
so daily mode's basically still strobe with the mode button, except daily mode will then have memory mode in your, so it'll start off in low if you want it to. Whereas this will always start off in turbo. I can turn it off in medium, turn it off, turn it back on, turbo.
If I hadn't got the the P23i, it'd be, I wouldn't be so familiar with that. But that seems to have a similar sort of interface. The dual modes, and then the double switch on the back as well. And I find that's quite handy, just having that button that you can press to quickly activate.
Absolutely, So, and I think just from seeing, so this doesn't have the zirconium beads, whereas that does. So that's got the glass breaking beads. It's actually got a smaller lens, and yet it throws further. Maybe it's deeper. Oh no, it's not even deeper. I don't know how that throws further. That throws it a long way.
It's probably the LED. This is a D-domed SFT70. So this is the Nightcore P23i. Rick actually just released a video on this one yesterday. So yeah, excellent throw. It's kind of got this really large hotspot.
Does, beautiful.
Very cool white color. The only thing that annoyed me a little bit was the center of the beam has a slight dark spot. You can't see it outside too much. But
I've noticed a few Nightcores. My MH12 SE has that as well, and it really annoys me.
It is, yeah.
Why the hell is that?
I think it has to do with the LED. The SFT70s are just known to produce a darker spot in the middle, or in some cases pretty severe donut holes. So they probably would have tried a few different reflectors in
Yep.
here, distance them from the LED, try different widths to try to even that out, and maybe this is the best they could do. But I think it's it's pretty good. I really can't see it too much, but
It doesn't come too much into play.
on the low modes you can. On the low modes you can.
One thing I wanted to actually talk about with the P23i is I actually did a review on this as well about a week ago, and this light almost hit every application that I wanted in a tactical light. Two things that I was a little bit off with about this light. Obviously, for my viewers, they know I'm an 18650 guy. I just like the weight and the size of them better. But the problem I found with the P23i is the heat. Did you find how quickly it heated up and how hot it got?
Definitely.
Yeah, and even the body, it was like unbearable. You can't really have it on turbo for too long without gloves.
I think the thing gets up to about 50 or 50 something degrees, but
Celsius.
when I measured it. So I did a little ceiling bounce test as well, and excuse me, I found that it just ramps down almost immediately when you switch it on. So when you have a light with if this is 3,000 lumens, you're going to have some struggles with maintaining that amount of output for a sustained period of time. And it's just a trade-off. You can get it, but it's going to be super hot. And I've got some Anduril lights I didn't bring along with me, some Surfer and Anduril lights, and you can actually configure them so that they don't ramp down. Probably the hottest you want to have them run, in my opinion, is about 60 degrees, and even then, I can't hold on to that.
Nah, man.
Okay, because I think anything past that point, it becomes a bit dangerous. For the batteries, especially. Depending on what batteries you have, what they're rated at.
Well, if you've got an unprotected cell in there as well, that's dangerous.
But it's amazing to see what they can do, what they can squeeze into a little light like this. I mean, it's really, to me, looks quite similar.
It's not too much bigger, actually.
To the Claris. I mean,
you know what? Let's do
around the same size of the
That
Claris.
is actually around the same size, and that is an 18650, and that is a 21700. So that shows you just how well Nightcore has done with their manufacturing and with their kind of scientific applications in this light. Excuse me, because as you just said, man, the 18650 Claris is the same size as the Nightcore P23i, and that's a 21700. Now, I would like to do a test with these, and if you would mind doing it, or I can do it, doesn't matter. But I think we put these on both in high because they're both 3,000 lumens, and let's see which one gets hotter quicker. All right. So would you like to go first?
No, maybe it'd be easier if you did them at the same time.
Okay. So is that on turbo and that's on turbo? Okay, cool. So let's go. I'll just hit them, and there might be a bit of black in the Claris too, actually.
A little bit.
Might be the same LED. Or similar, because this one's not as cool. So I don't know if you guys can see, but the Claris is not as cool as the Nightcore. They're both putting out 3,000 lumens. The Nightcore definitely has more candela. Size of the hotspot, Nightcore is bigger than the Claris again. Now, we should have been timing this, but look, it's been roughly about 30 seconds, and they are both starting to heat up in my pinky finger area. So I'm sure that the head is starting to get very, very hot. I'm also sure that they've both started to ramp down, although I can't tell just by the roof.
It happens so slowly that it's hard to see. I usually use an app on my phone, or I have a lux meter that will measure just a slight decrease. But when you're using it, it's hard to tell because it ramps down so slowly. But often they ramp down to even 30, 25, 30 something percent of their full output. And so it's a good thing that they do that.
Oh, for sure. It's a must. It's a must. So at the moment, the Nightcore is starting to get a little bit hot, so I'm just going to move it. I should leave it there for as long as I really can, just to be fair. But the Nightcore is definitely, I'm starting to struggle a little bit. The pinky finger and my hand underneath where my pinky finger is really not liking the heat at all.
And get some bacon.
So the Claris is very hot, but it hasn't gotten to the point of I've needed to move my hand yet. Although, as I just said that, it's starting to as well. So I would probably say that the Nightcore's actually starting to get really hot. All right, so Yeah, definitely the Nightcore has gotten hotter quicker. However, it is pushing out more candela. So that's something to be aware of. And also it's being pushed out by a more powerful battery. So I guess that has something to do with why it would get hotter quicker. I don't know.
You know, it's when you have this, even when if you're not holding on to it and you just do the test by itself, the thing gets ridiculously hot.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Obviously your body temperature is going to be, 36, 37 degrees. Yep. And so that's going to also absorb some of that heat.
Yep.
And you leave it just facing up and then you touch it.
Yep.
After a few minutes, it's unbearable.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I think holding it in your hand and around that spot does help you to, just absorb a little bit of that heat.
Yep.
But when I run the test, I usually just have it standing up, and
yep.
this one ramps down quite quickly.
Yep.
Amazing the light that it can produce, but
for sure, something
to keep in mind with any of these pocket lights that can have a huge amount of lumens in them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. One thing I wanted to show you before was that I wanted to kind of demonstrate a bit of the difference between the TIR and the reflector light, but also the candela difference. So this is a TIR, so it's going to give me a really nice hotspot regardless, but the candela on this is like 50 something thousand, and I think the candela on this is like 30 something thousand. I could be wrong. I won't check my notes right now, but so 3000 lumens here, 1750. And look at the difference in now, granted this is a bit cooler, but can you see that hotspot's screaming hot still?
Yeah.
And that's 1750 lumens, or 1700 lumens, sorry. 1700 lumens over 3000 lumens, but the 1700 lumen light is actually brighter on the eyes because of the lens, the TIR, and also because of the candela that's pushing it out.
And I think that's a really, if we're talking about self-defense, or, that candela is important because you're able to, basically, concentrate those lumens into a smaller spot.
Definitely.
It's going to be more disorientating. But then you're going to have to aim that flashlight properly as well.
Yeah.
So that's something to
trade off. Yeah, definitely. And you know what? I actually found with the Claris that exact point, which was that the amount of light that it puts out, even if you kind of don't aim it correctly, it's still going to have a major effect. Whereas in the TIR, you do have to kind of get your aim right, I suppose. What's another one you've got?
Oh, let's have a look. So I have another convoy light here. So we've looked at pretty much a lot of those smaller bodied lights. If you want something that can basically produce a lot of lumens and hold it for a significant period of time, there's really no way around it. You need to have a flashlight with a larger body. So this has got an LED called the SBT 90.2. This is the Convoy L8. There's so many of these throwers out there. With the SBT 90, I think Lumentop do a few. Acebeam also do one. Ruben has something I think called the A2 as well. This one runs off a really strange battery. It's called the 26800 cell. It's enormous. I mean,
let's compare it to a 21700.
Yeah, I mean it's significantly larger. Holds 6,800 to 6,800 milliamp hour cell, and
yeah, right.
This one actually came with the light, pretty juicy sort of spring, 5,000 lumens, and let me just switch it on. So that's the low mode, but in high, I mean, it's
bounces off the books, even bounces off the black bright.
It's absolutely full on. But having a large, a large bezel like that really does wonders to just absorb all that heat. Even after, even now, I can feel it getting warm. So
will that be able to retain the turbo mode a lot longer?
Yeah. It still will ramp down after maybe a minute and a half.
Yep.
From the last ceiling bounce test I did, but also if you depends if the light's already warm and it's been on for a bit. You switch it on, it will already start to ramp down. Can have a play around.
I would love to. I'm just looking for my notes on. I believe that's that one.
SST70.
Where is it?
That might be what's in the Claris. That could be the SST70, the dome version of the SST70.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's very bright. Man, that's awesome.
1.5 kilometer beam. And the great thing about Convoy is that they're just incredible value. I mean, I think that light you can get it for about $100 Australian.
Wow.
With the battery included.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know, it's not going to come with all the bells and whistles that you get with the light that's $300, $200, $300, $400. So what I like is that it does have a charging port on the back there.
Charging port, cool.
A lot of Convoy lights don't come with that, but I think for an SBT thrower, it's really the best value that you can get out there.
Yep.
And
that's bloody amazing. See, and so this is a good time, I guess, to mention value for money. And you know, my collection here, this collection here of 8 torches will cost you well over $1,000. And that collection there is more than 8 torches, and that collection there probably, I'm guessing, wouldn't come close to $1,000.
Yeah, if you picked out, say, all the Convoys and Convoys maybe like this Immolate torch, you know, probably like a few hundred dollars. I mean, the T20L, that costs something like 800 Australian.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got the Immolate MR90. But apart from those two,
yep.
I mean, with Convoy and, you know, the Spearaz M4, this one I think is about $70 or $70 Australian.
Yep.
Comes with a battery as well.
Yep.
So you get a lot. You get a lot for what you pay for.
Yep.
But what you don't get is the specialization. So if you're kind of looking for a torch that you can carry around, more of like a daily use torch, I think some of these, you know, Convoy flashlights are fantastic, but you know, you're not going to have onboard charging. You're going to get extremely good value. And this one's $25.
Yeah, I know that's.
And it's got the PM1.
Yep.
Not PM1, NM1 emitter in it. You can order it in also different emitters. So what I really like about Convoy, you can actually go on and select the emitter, select what driver you get with it.
Yeah, there's programmable drivers, right?
Programmable drivers. You can choose. There's like 12 different modes in there that you can lock in. So, you know, there's also things like you can unscrew and open up the bezel, change the LEDs if you want, if you're any good with that.
Cool.
So, you know, I think tinkering around with things, it's really good. And a lot of the premium flashlight brands, for example, even with Nextorch, you can't open that up. They don't want you to get in there because they've got a warranty.
Yeah.
Average dude going there is going to stuff it up.
I'll stuff it up.
Yeah, I'll stuff it up. I don't want to get in there.
No, stay there. So just going back to, we were talking about, when we were talking with the Convoy, we were talking about how long a light can last on high or on turbo, right? And one thing that Olight continues to do is it produces turbo with a crazy amount of time. So I just got, that's why I was looking at my phone before. So this light on 2,300 lumens will go for 2.5 minutes before it steps down. That's a long time to be on turbo. So, and what I love about Olight is that they specify exactly how long each is going to have. So the Olight Warrior 3, which I think is a great contender for the perfect light, by the way, will give you on turbo 2,300 lumens for 2.5 minutes. It'll then step down to 800 lumens for 160 minutes. And then after that, it'll step down to 250 lumens for 39 minutes before shutting off. That's from turbo. Yeah. So, and another thing that Olight has in common with a couple of yours, I think it was one of the Next torches actually, is that in tactical mode, the tail switch will only give you strobe and turbo, and it will only give them to you in a momentary application. So what that means is the side switch is simply just turn it on. It'll have memory mode on everything but turbo. It has a 1 lumen output as well, which is great for nighttime.
Moonlight mode, that's
perfect.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like you don't see that in a lot of flashlights for some reason.
Yeah, and it's weird, right? It's a really usable amount.
Yeah. Because it has the side switch and also the tail switch. Can you turn it on with the tail switch as well?
Yes.
To start off?
Yes.
Okay.
So the tail switch, I have this in tactical mode, right? So the tail switch will give you 2 applications. It'll give you a half press into turbo, and then if you press all the way down, strobe. That's it. Okay. But it's momentary. So very similar to one of your next torches, I believe.
Yeah, I really like the design of the light as well, and this kind of imprinting and stuff on the outside. I know Olight do they special versions. Sometimes I think I've seen like some kind of American flag version of the Warrior as well. So wow, it's definitely machined. Look at that.
It's a brilliant light.
The tail has these little
like arrowhead
markings.
Almost.
Yeah, just the attention to detail, and these are the little things you tend to appreciate over time, and able to discern even the knurling of it. Nice, not too aggressive, but it is grippy. Because the anodization, it's more of the shiny type of anodization, I believe. So it's interesting how they managed to get this design on there as well. On top of the anodization, where they're printed on top. But it's kind of this army style.
It is,
which I like.
It was it was available in black, orange, red, or that, and I opted for that because I wanted something a bit different.
Wow, look at that hotspot.
Massive.
That's really, really nice. It's a really nice hotspot. Really large hotspot. Compared to the P23i, it's more sort of smaller here on the P23i, but this is a really large, useful hotspot.
The Warrior series do that, and they actually don't specify what LED, but the formation of the LED and then the reflector is very interesting in the Warrior series.
Looks like a TIR lens, and it probably has the same SFT70 in it. If you look behind it, I reckon it's an SFT70.
I can't tell. I honestly, it looks very similar. Yeah, you might be right, but it does have a slightly TIR application in it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's how you get that. And with TIR lights, they just produce such a smooth and aesthetically pleasing beam. You don't get any ringiness that you get with the reflectors. I think reflector lights are fantastic as well. I think the distinction between the hot spot and the spill is very clear. But with TIR lights, I think they have this sort of smoother hot spot. And the flood even is quite smooth.
No, I'd agree.
It's nice. Nice little cutout for the bezel as well.
Yeah, this light I would say is a good use for security and security police, anyone that's kind of doing some form of application that may require a light that is going to be able to shine very bright, very quick, and do that in a protective fashion.
No donut hole?
No,
like it.
No, absolutely not. The only thing about this is that it's not very pocketable for someone like me. 2 reasons is 21700, very heavy, but also the sharp-ish, I wouldn't say sharp, but it is more aggressive bezel.
You take it out? Is there a way to...
I don't believe so, no. I mean, if there is, I don't know about it. But I would honestly consider taking it out. It would make it a lot more pocketable. And also, if you feel the side switch, it is not only very flush, but it's also quite, it takes a bit to push, so I'm not worried about it turning on in my pocket.
I like that. Looks like there's some kind of battery. Look at that. That's incredible.
Battery indicator and also our output indicator.
There's a little battery indicator around the ring, so that's
that's the battery there, and then turn it on again, and it'll show you. So that's turbo.
Okay, so when it starts reducing the lumen output, it actually tells you at what point.
Yes, it will.
It is.
From turbo. So if you double press the side switch, and it's in turbo, and you leave it on turbo, when it starts to step down, you'll see, or you should see actually. I actually haven't tested that, but I would imagine so. I should test that. It's a good question.
That's really cool. Like, there's just something about these little flashy lights on it. I mean, there's utility to them as well.
For sure. So, and look, it doesn't stay on as well, which is nice. It's not going to kind of distract you from the task at hand. And typical Olight, you've got your 2-way pocket clip, and you can also put the pocket clip lens down or lens up. It doesn't matter. It's a really good light.
Yeah. How much is this one, the Warrior 3?
The Warrior 3 is about $180.
$180.
Australian.
Australian?
Yeah.
This is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a nice light.
I think I've been drawn to the design more, just this sort of this printing on the side, but also the nice smoothness of this beam. Yeah.
No,
I like this one.
It's a nice light. It's a very nice light.
And I know you say you wouldn't carry it around your pocket. Because I'm used to carrying around probably larger lights.
Mm-hmm.
I will carry around something like this, the P21i, or even the TA30C, the next torch TA30C. So
well, that'd be a good one for you. And look, you can't go past the fact that it's got a side switch application. I mean, that's just incredible how it's got side switch, moonlight mode. It's honestly, it's a good candidate for the all-in-one light. It really, really is. And I opted to buy the Warrior 3 instead of the Warrior 3S because the Warrior 3S stands for sensor, proximity sensor, and that means that if you get too close, it ramps down. Now, I don't want that. If I've got someone close to me and I want to blind them, I don't want it to ramp down in their face.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
That's like one of the, with Olight, they really they really sort of put in these little a lot of R&D to their lights. And I don't know any other light that has that proximity sensor feature.
Nor do I. No, nor do I.
Yeah. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and look, I'll just mention the final light, and I just want to mention this. I left this one to last because this is my go-to self-defense light, no matter what. I believe that the mixture of Candela, which is 77,000, and the lumen output, which is 1750, is utterly perfect. The LED down there is different to the other LH8 head, which has more lumen, more Candela but less lumens. Do you know what one that is?
Yeah, that's an SFT40 in there.
Okay.
So it's a very throwy.
Yes.
Throwy LED.
Yes. But let me show you the size of the hotspot, the cool white, and the utter blinding potential that this light has. I just think it's phenomenal for self-defense. Single output as well. 1750 lumens. Turn it on, and it's just all business. And I just love it. I've actually practiced with this in the mirror to see how dangerous it can be for someone's eyes. And I assure you, this is a great go-to self-defense. There's no thinking. It's just pick it up and hit the button.
So it's just one mode.
Yep.
As the other. And these, the different heads that you mentioned, these are interchangeable.
Interchangeable.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Chuck it on an 18350 if that's what you want.
It really feels like something like this would go on the barrel of a gun or something like that.
It's really what they're designed for, man, to be honest.
Like a military tool.
Yeah.
Really. And,
hence the name Well Tool. They're a very well tool, I tell you.
Yeah, really good throw. SFT40.
Let's see how much. Okay, got a little bit longer to go.
I'm a big fan of these of throwy lights.
Yep.
And also I've seen with most of your kit as well, they have a high Candela rating, but also with some usable spill.
Yes.
Because the LEPs,
you need that.
Fantastic. I love LEPs. They're great fun.
Good
but
fun.
Limited. What are you going to use it for at the end of the day? Anything short or mid-range, very tricky. But this you can have high Candela, but there's spill. It's kind of with a lot of reflector lights, you have some ringiness in it. But at the end of the day, it works. Yeah, it does the job. Yeah, it's practical. It's got enough spill.
Keep that in your hand for a second, because I just want to show you why I'm obsessed with the spill in the LH1 head. So I'd like, and I apologize to you guys at home, you're not going to see this, but you actually have seen on my reviews before. Or if you haven't, go to my reviews, look up the LH1, or look up any of my Well Tool reviews when I do include the LH1, because you will see the spill. Now shine that on the roof, your one, the LH8, and now the LH1. Look at that spill. Look how clean it is. And it's not too bright, but it's bright enough that in the dark, you see everything.
What's if you shine it down the back there, what is... it does beat it, the one you have.
Oh, this is 89,000 Candela, whereas yours is 77,000. Yeah. But it's the spill that wins this light for me, man. Wow. The spill is just so clean. Is that not the most neatest spill you've ever seen? It's just beautiful.
It's unusual for a reflector. That's a reflector?
Yeah. So I don't know how they've done that, but bravo, Well Tool. Really, it's just incredible what you've done.
Yeah.
Now, I would love to see one of your LED lenses.
Yeah, I wish I actually brought a few more lights with me. I thought I had a few more in my bag.
Yep. But, well, we got plenty of time to, plenty more opportunities to do these videos together, mate.
Yeah, for sure. So these are a couple of LED lenser lights, and I know for those of you guys living in Australia, when you go out to Bunnings or just your general camping, fishing stores, you would see these all across the board. And in my opinion, I think they're quite reliable lights, and most of them take primary cells. So these ones I actually got from LED Lenser as a sample. I did a bunch of videos for them a while back. I did some light painting videos, and they have their own lithium ion cells in here. And it's kind of interesting. This one is the LED Lenser P6R Core QC. If you look at it, there's 4 different LEDs.
Oh wow.
So there's green, green, red, white, and blue.
Cool.
So the interesting thing is that they have this kind of canister. I don't get this, but
right.
the cell goes in here, and you can put in other 18650 cells, which is...
That's good, yeah.
Which is great. Cause
proprietary systems are not the best. That's where Olight fails. Proprietary system, whereas Weltool, no proprietary.
Yeah, and I really think that manufacturers should try to focus on that, unless there is a reason, like a specific reason that you need that battery. Maybe it's a kind of technology that's unique to the brand.
Yep.
So yeah, you pop that in, you pop the tail switch on, and basically you turn the light on, and you've got...
Wow, that's cool, man.
This thing is great. I use this to take photos of my lights.
Yep.
And I do light painting as well with it. You've got green, you've got red, white, and then the blue light, and you push the head. You sort of
nice.
Push the head, pull the head in and out to sort of focus and defocus the beam. You don't get a huge amount of brightness with these LEDs. Probably the red and the green and the blue, probably the brightest compared to the white.
Yep.
Especially the blue. It's quite, I don't know. It just feels quite sensitive in my eyes.
So how much is something like that worth?
This one, I'd have to have a look. I think it's probably 150.
Yep.
Might be about $150.
Yep.
For this one here. So if you're interested in light painting, also people who go bushwalking, with animals, they apparently don't see so well with the green and red color ranges. So I think it's friendly on them. Scare off the animals too.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a few different modes. You click again, and you can sort of ramp down the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so you can ramp down. There's 4 different levels of brightness on each mode.
Yep.
There's also
pause there. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I can't remember where I was really at, but yeah, basically you've got 4 different modes.
Yep.
4 different levels of brightness. When you switch it on, it goes to the highest level of brightness. There's also a way to get it to strobe on each mode. I think it's 5 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So you can get it to strobe on each mode, and I find it might seem a little bit gimmicky, but I use this when I'm light painting. Look, it's just another hobby that you can do with flashlights.
Yep.
And when you have it strobing and you take a long exposure photo, you see the light trails.
Yep.
Like the separation between the lights. So I do like kind of orb pictures and
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yep.
Which is cool. And you can double click. I can't remember what it was. There is a mode that just strobes everything. It's really disorientating. It just strobes all the all the LEDs.
Oh,
are kind of got this rainbow colored. Is it 3? I can't actually remember what the hell it was.
There's so many different potential applications with lights, and it's hard to remember all of them.
Yeah, I can't. It's actually pretty. It's pretty.
That's cool.
Pretty simple, but I can't remember. But LED Lenser have that. Their head, this sort of focusable beam.
Yep.
Which they have actually patented it. I think that's why a lot of manufacturers don't have that on their
because
on
it's
their
been
lights.
patented.
They patented this technology.
Well, good on them. Yeah,
So,
I mean, well, it's not really sharing, but good on them.
But I think you do see a few others as well.
Yeah.
You see
Now,
a few
this
others.
one. What's this one about?
This is the LED Lenser P7R Work UV. This is really cool because it's actually got a shock resistant and chemical resistant design to it. So I don't know what kind of anodization they use, but that's actually stated in their features. And LED Lenser have the normal range, which is basically their non-work range. But anything that has this sort of the work under, because you get the P7R.
Yep.
And then if you have anything of the work underneath, it's just built to high specifications. Oh, you got it.
I'm so sorry. I just held it down.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
Yeah. Because I didn't know how to turn it off. How do you turn it off?
You just press once.
Oh.
So, and I think that's also, I feel
Sorry
like
for interrupting.
there's so many modes in just one button.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Not great for tactical, but not every light has to be about tactical.
And I think I was telling you before how I was doing some beam shots in the park, and the police someone called the police on me, and they were like, "What is he doing? What's this guy doing?"
Yeah.
He's doing these lights, in the the middle of the park, and the cops came over, and I had a bit of a chat. Everything was all good, and they were actually more interested to see what lights I had.
Oh, good on him.
And I said, what do you have in this? They showed, and they actually have some kind of LED lens, or a smaller LED lens of light. So they must have the contract here for the cops in
probably
Victoria.
Yep.
So
there was a little mag light that I saw, an 18650, I think, mag light on the internet that looked amazing. It was a bit expensive for me, but it looked really good. Yeah. They've come a long way since the old LEDs and reflectors.
Yeah, and Maglite, that was my first ever flashlight, was that I can remember anyway, was a Maglite. My dad got that for me when I was 12, and I still have that.
One of the big ones?
It was a small one. It's called a Maglite Solitaire.
Okay.
And it had one of those little halogen bulbs, like tiny little.
Yep.
It still works.
Yep.
And I remember I was just so happy to have this little flashlight.
That's cool.
I don't know what it is, when you see like a lot of guys, for some reason, we just like stuff like this.
Yeah, we do, man.
EDC stuff that you can carry around, things that has some type of practical purpose. And lights, I don't know, it just has that immediate wow factor. So there's an emotional side of it as well, but there's so many uses for them, and let me just show you how this one works. So it's basically the same thing. This is the LED lens of P7R. You click it and it goes straight onto like a low mode. This is also a programmable flashlight. So I can't remember what it is, but you're gonna need to read the instruction manual. It's not something that you can quickly pick up.
Okay.
But there's a whole bunch of modes, and you can select which one comes first, which one comes last. You can subtract modes, that kind of thing. It has a UV ultraviolet light mode on the back as well, just a tiny little LED. I've turned that off because I don't need it.
Yes.
But I can imagine people, like a security officer or whatever, maybe checking ID or checking documents.
Yep.
And I think that's in 395 nanometers.
Yes. Okay.
So it produces more visible light. But having it, the good thing about this is that it comes with this little belt clip, and then you can put it on your belt like that. I'm sure you've probably used something like this before, but you can kind of swivel the thing around.
That's great.
So when you're walking, you can have the torch just
hands-free.
facing.
Yep.
So
now, how easy is that to pull out of the pocket clip? Is it easy, or do you have to remove the pocket clip itself if you want to pull it off your belt?
Oh, what do you mean, like the light itself?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Actually, I haven't tried. Maybe let's give this a try. So it
Easy
pulls off.
Okay, cool.
Sort of snaps into place.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, not bad actually.
Yeah.
I've never tried that. So I use this a fair bit. I went to Wilson's prom a few months ago, and it's just fantastic.
That's awesome.
Area, you just get some firewood out the back, and when you need your hands, and the good thing as well, there's the focusable feature of the beam. So
that's important.
Ability to just
camping,
focus in and out. It's kind of subtle. It's also a 4000K LED.
Yep.
So it's quite a warm LED. I don't know what kind of LED it is. Like, I took it apart and had a look. Can't figure out what it is.
Yeah, okay. Does look strange.
They also don't release the names of their LEDs. So I think, like, these are rechargeable. This one's a 21. The P7R Work UVs are rechargeable. Has a rechargeable battery in there as well, 21700 cell. And I have put in other non-proprietary cells.
Yep.
They do work, the button top ones. The ones that are just unprotected cells, flat tops, they're just a little too short.
Yeah.
So as long as you can get a button top cell that fits in these,
yep,
they're absolutely fine. But I have tried on unprotected in the P6R QC, and it works because it has that kind of holster that holds the battery in there as well. I thought I'd show, especially my viewers would know a bit about Convoy already, but I thought I'd show you some of these. I thought I'd actually forgot to bring them, but talked a little bit about Convoy at the start of the video and also through the video. This is one of their most popular hosts. It's the M21B. Okay. So it comes with the whole range of emitters, and you can sort of change it around to whatever suits you, what kind of emitter you like. These basically, I've got a CUL PM1.TG emitter. So this is a very throwy emitter, and it produces,
wow, beautiful.
Yeah, about This one, I think it produces 700 meters of throw. And
Is that a single output?
No, with Convoy you get different mode groupings. So I got the one with 12 mode groupings. So I've just chosen one that start off in high and then it just
okay.
you press it and then it just cycles through. But it has mode memory, and the good thing about it is that the mode memory, you only need to leave the flashlight on for about a second. So you turn it off, turn it on. So although it doesn't have that tactical mode, you can really just access that same
so it kind of does
very quickly.
Yeah.
And you know, the great thing is that they're extremely affordable if you're just getting into flashlights. The only things that you're probably going to need to buy your own charger to hold, to charge the batteries.
Yes,
but
they're cheap. You can get them from any battery store.
Yeah, you can get one of these with the NM1 emitter for something like 30 something Australian.
Oh, that's cool, man.
You can't beat that.
Yeah.
And this one here, I actually got this one with the green emitter. It's the CSL PM1 TG emitter, and it's the same. It's pretty much the same emitter as that one.
Yep.
But it comes in a 30-30 footprint. So the dye surface is the same, but that white area around the outside is smaller. And this one is
beautiful
and has nearly 1 kilometer of throw.
Wow.
I mean, 922 meters I measured with my light meter. I mean, it's pretty incredible for just a flashlight like this that you can get for, $30-40 online.
Where's online?
So it's you have to go to the AliExpress store. It's
okay. Yep.
Just search up Convoy flashlight store.
Yep.
So the guy who runs it's a dude called Simon Mao, and I knew about him actually like when I was a teenager.
Right.
And just like he was making flashlights then and these hosts. So
now I'm noticing they're reverse clickies as well.
Yeah.
So no momentary. Which is not a problem.
Yeah.
So that's
I wish they did have momentary though.
Would be good.
Great. And even like a little charging port. I'm getting a couple more in the mail soon, and I've got one that will have a charging port. But
awesome.
That's the difference when you're getting a budget light like this, a so-called budget light. There's these little things in there that you're gonna forego.
Yeah.
Onboard charging doesn't come with a battery as well unless you
select
stick your hand up. And some of them don't. And things that doesn't come with a clip on it.
Yep. Oh, really?
Doesn't come with a clip. These are my own clips that I popped on.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that because I noticed the reversible clip.
Yeah.
And then I noticed the non-reversible with this. So I was going to ask, is it a...
That came with it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's the M.
This is nice.
M2.
This one's nice.
For a little, this one throws 600 meters. This is the Convoy M2.
18650?
18650.
Yep.
And as you can see, like the beam profile's pretty nice.
It's beautiful, yeah.
And I mean, this thing I think is another $30-something.
Amazing.
Australian shipped to your door.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
Incredible.
Can't beat that.
So there's a lot to think about when starting your flashlight journey. There's a lot to think about in terms of price, budgets. So your own budget, but also budget lights. These lights here are absolutely incredible, and they are less than a third of the price of a lot of these lights if you don't include these two here, because they're quite expensive. In fact, you said this was about 800 Australian?
Yeah.
So this is probably the most expensive light on this table, because the most expensive light I have is 470 light, which is the LEP LH3 head. And the LEP with spill, they're the same, 470. So, but apart from that, these lights, you got 150, 130, 180, and then 160, 300 or 280, and then 470 for each of these. And then the LH8 head, I believe, is about 250, something like that. So they're not cheap, and that's the thing. If you want a light that's reliable, a light that is proven, specifically Well-Tool proven in battle, like they use these firing them on guns, then you got to pay for it, And then the budget lights, I don't see anything wrong with them. In fact, I really like some of the ones that you've just shown me. So I think it's definitely something to think about, and I'm certainly going to be moving a little bit more closer to the budget light side of things. These brands like Next Torch and Convoy and Sofern and what else you got there? Some LED lenses. there's some things I'm going to be really looking into in the future, in the near future as well, because I think they're great. I'm so happy to be up close and personal with some of these lights and see that, what you get for around $40. That's just incredible, man. And shipped to your door from AliExpress. How long roughly does that take to get to you?
Oh, a couple of weeks.
Okay.
A couple of weeks
Yep.
time.
Cool.
And a lot of what I've noticed is that there are quite a few businesses that sell Convoy flashlights out there, and some of these other budget brands, and they'll rebrand them, sell them for 2 to 3 times the price. So, like for the best bang for buck, I reckon just order it from the AliExpress store. I think people just get a bit hesitant because you don't know. I mean, dealing with AliExpress, it's like a different.
If something goes wrong,
exactly what happens.
I get it,
but they're fantastic lights, and they're also regulated, so they hold their lumen output for a significant period of time.
Brilliant.
But kind of like Mike was saying, it all comes down to what you're using the light for. We have all these lights here, and this is kind of abnormal. I mean, the usual person will maybe have a few.
Yeah.
And so if you're buying a light and you just want to maybe, I don't know, have it in your bag and you want it to be throwy, you don't want to break the bank. Some of these Convoy lights are great.
Yep.
But if you're going out and you're needing to use it for a specific purpose, you really want to make sure this thing is reliable.
Yep.
I think it's worth spending the extra money for that peace of mind.
Yep.
Another thing, you don't get a warranty with these Convoy lights, but if you're looking at LED Lenser, Claris, Ace Beam, I'm pretty sure they got a warranty as well. Next Tool, they got a 5-year warranty. Immolent, they've got a warranty as well. I don't know what it is. I haven't looked it up, but that's a thing. And they put more thought into the design. Often there are little bits and pieces that you'll find just don't kind of like the tail, not the switch, but the clip. Doesn't work, and only certain clips will fit on. You've got to kind of finesse your way through some of those budget lights. But for me, I like tinkering around with things and modifying things. So
that sounds like Convoy would be something really cool for me to deal with as well, because I like tinkering around, and I would love to deal with different drivers and things like that. So that sounds very appealing to me.
But I really appreciate you, just suggesting to meet up. And these lights are awesome. Like I've never actually seen these before. I've seen some of the O lights.
Which one do you like best out of the collection I've brought today so far?
I reckon I really like this O-Light one, and also that throwy well tool. I'm really impressed with the well tool.
The LH1, was it with the tight hotspot, or so it is LED, right? Not LEP.
LED, yeah.
Yep. I won't have the battery in it.
It's cool. Yeah.
But
the attention to detail that they put on their lights.
Yep.
And the feel of them. Yeah, and what I like is how efficient they are in terms of the size of the light, just how much throw you get out of them. That's always something I've been trying to look for in a flashlight, just that sweet spot where you just want to make sure it throws as far as possible, but you don't want to feel it in your pocket. So, for me, the Convoy M2 for my lights is something that I thought was pretty good. But seeing some of these other lights with well tool and see how they've managed to make it work in a smaller package has been definitely quite amazing. Also like the Ace Beam, as well. And it's surprising to see how a lot of them are now using these TIR reflectors.
I welcome it, man.
Lenses.
The TIR lenses are actually pretty bloody beautiful.
Yeah. But what about yourself? Like, are there any of these that have taken you by surprise, or?
Well, certainly that one. So the Next Torch T20L has just blown me away. Did you say 900 lumens for an LEP?
900 lumens.
Yeah. So 900 lumens for that is just incredible. That one has really piqued my interest, and it has also really impressed me. So for Next Torch, you've done a really good job, and in terms of size, like you've kept the battery sleeve, or the body of the light quite usable. You've included a pocket clip, which is just beautiful. And obviously the size of this head is necessary for what it does. But you know, you notch this onto your belt, it's not going anywhere. And I love that about the about this next torch. So that one is absolutely beautiful. I'm very impressed with the LED Lenser, the P6R Core QC. That's also something that has impressed me with the 4 different outputs and all that sort of stuff. So that's a nice one. And I guess I'm just really impressed with a lot of these budget lights. Convoy has very much impressed me. And is that another? Yeah, so next torch, that has also impressed me. The TA30C Max. That's you know, half press for turbo, full press for strobe, very similar to this.
I think a lot of the next torch lights, they've priced quite similarly to, I wouldn't say as much as Olight, but getting around that. Getting around that limit as well. But I always wondered, why are they just not known as much, especially around Australia? I mean, could
be marketing.
Yeah,
their marketing team may not have what Olight's marketing team has. I mean, you know, when it comes to business and things like that, the sun's just in my eyes. I apologize about the light, guys.
Move over.
Let's see if I can get out of that for a bit. Yeah, so the light's gonna get us now. We'll finish up in a moment. Basically, my assumption would be that Olight broke into the market first, and they were able to capitalize, and it's very difficult for another company who missed that boat to able to capitalize on a market now. They can obviously build their market base and clientele, but yeah, Olight must have done it earlier. So look, before we finish, I'd just like to say thanks very much for doing this, and I hope you guys at home, we all you all enjoyed the video. If Darren and I decide to do some other videos, I mean, I hope you do, and I think that we should do, you know, some regular videos together. It's been a pleasure getting to know your lights, and
for those of you guys watching at home, if you have any feedback on the video, you know, if you'd like us to maybe talk about specific topics next time, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that we can improve content and make sure that you get what you want out of these videos. Mike and I were thinking of doing some beam shots as well. So, you know, maybe comparing a few different flashlights. So if you have some suggestions on what lights that you'd like to see compared, just let us know. So then we can kind of tee up, get together and compare each other's lights and stuff. So yeah, that's about it. But I really appreciate you, as I said again, coming along. This is the first time I've done this sort of collaboration with torches and live as well.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm normally on my computer like constantly all the time. And it's good to actually get out in the flesh and see and actually do something in person. So
I couldn't agree more, man. This has been really great, and I hope you guys at home have enjoyed it.